Welcome to this episode of Crazy Critters. We're going old school today and talking about some of our old friends in the keep room. I have Bee joining us today. She is our queen bee ball python, and a python is named by their color or their morph, and that's a genetic mutation that affects their color and their pattern. So her pattern or morph is queen bee, and that's a mixture of a spider ball python like our friend Stella, as well as a pastel and a lesser platinum. Okay, we know that their pattern is considered a disruptive pattern, and that's because the colors are all mixed up. So in the wild, it would help them blend in a little bit better with their surroundings. And I bet most of you know the word for when an animal can blend in with its surroundings. If you said camouflage, you got it. We're going to talk about adaptations in just a couple of minutes. So pythons live in the wild in warm tropical areas in Africa, Asia, and Australia. So if you remember, an adaptation is a change that an organism makes to better survive in their environment. It's something on their body that they have that helps them survive. When we looked at Sunshine the desert tortoise, we noticed the shell, and that is an adaptation they have that protects them from predators. So we're going to talk a little bit about adaptations with snakes. But first, I just want to remind you that snakes are reptiles as well. They are cold-blooded, they have scales, they have a backbone, and most of them lay eggs, okay? But when we talk about adaptations, let's think about the things that snakes have that help them to live in their environment. So Stella here has scales. Those protect her in harsh environments because she can't go inside and she doesn't have a thick coat of fur to protect her. We know that snakes can camouflage. That means they use their colors to blend in. And we know that snakes hibernate in the winter. Now that's an adaptation because these guys are cold-blooded. That means they need that heat from the sun to function, to survive. The winters are just too cold. So these guys will go underground in a burrow, find a place where they can take a nice deep sleep, a good nap for the winter, and then when it warms up, they'll come on out. You might notice that happens here at Kimbark. We don't see as many of our little lizard friends roaming around in the winter. But come spring and summer, man, they are everywhere. In fact, this last summer, we saw lots of snakes on our playground as well. Nothing poisonous, gophers and garter snakes, but still they were coming out. They were very active because it was very warm. So hibernation is a type of adaptation. This is our friend Stella. She is also a ball python, but her pattern is called a spider. In our next video, when we see Nike and Catherine, you're going to see they're called a normal ball python or a royal ball python, and that's because their pattern is what we would typically see. It's more normal. Stella is a spider. Her colors, she's got these gold colors in there, and her pattern, she has more of a long stripe of that dark chocolate, whereas the normal ball pythons have bigger sections of that. She also, I don't know if you guys can see this, she has the cutest yellow freckles or gold freckles along the side of her. So pretty cool. And then her scales on the bottom, they are more separated. They help the snakes to actually be able to grip and pull themselves along. So when they slither, that's their pattern of movement. They're actually gripping the ground and they're using the traction that they grab to move themselves, even though it looks like they're kind of floating along the ground. Another adaptation that snakes have is that they shed their skin. They even shed the skin over their nose and right over their eyes because they don't have eyelids, but they have a nice layer of skin to protect their eyes. So this is some shed from Stella, and they'll kind of get gray and the skin looks old and kind of gross. As it's starting to loosen on their skin, they'll rub up against things in their cage to get that skin off. I usually have a rock in there, and sometimes I'll even spray them with a little bit of misty water just to help soften. But look at this one. This is one we have in here too. What do you think this is from? This has been in here for a long time. So this is a skin from a diamondback rattlesnake. I don't know where it came from. I didn't go out and get it. Please do not go out and try to get a rattlesnake for me. You can see it has the diamond pattern on it. That's how I identified it. And I did check online to make sure I was correct. This has been in here a long time, but it's kind of interesting how we have this one nice piece of shed from this rattlesnake. So speaking of rattlesnakes, something else that rattlesnakes have, they are venomous, so they have fangs, but they have a rattle, and listen to it. Okay. This is an adaptation they have, and it's not telling you that they're going to attack you. It's actually asking you to stay away. Well, that's it for this episode. Make sure you like this video and you share it with your friends and family. And boys and girls, remember, if you see a snake out in the wild, observe it and respect it from a distance. If it looks like it might be poisonous or dangerous, please find a grown-up. Do not try to handle a snake in the wild. If you want to hold a snake, come see me. I'll let you hold our friend Stella here. I'll see you next time.